Okay.
Shiva, looks like he's not there. But then, see, his question is quite simple. It's the basic issue that all of us faced, or we face even now, that when we sit for meditation, within no time, within a very short time, our mind starts thinking again. So we keep thinking about some problem or some solution, or we imagine that we are talking to somebody, our friends, our relatives, whatever, and then we get busy in that. I mean, the mind gets busy in that. So what Shiva is asking is that how do we ensure that the mind stays concentrated and stops thinking? Okay. Now, there are two answers to this. The first answer is from Swamiji himself. Once he mentioned this to me by himself, he told me that if you can concentrate on your breath, swasa antam kadandi Telugulo, if you can concentrate on that, I mean, your eyes are closed, okay, and you are supposed to only look at your brukuti, but if you concentrate on your breath, he said, automatically the thoughts will stop. The mind will stop thinking and the meditation will continue. Okay, so this is the advice from Swamiji. Okay, in addition to that, I have a little advice or suggestion, whichever way you want to take it. What I have observed, I mean, this is my personal experience, so this is an answer from my own personal experience. See, what happens is when we start the meditation, within a while, without our knowledge, I mean, we don't even know that we are not even aware that we are thinking, but the thought process starts again. Okay, what is in Sanskrit called the manovritti, meaning the mind going round in circles, thinking about something or the other all the time. Okay, so that starts off. Now, after a while, suddenly you become conscious that you are unnecessarily thinking about something. Okay, so at that point in time, what happens is there is a tendency in our mind to roll back and see how we arrived at this thought. Okay, my suggestion is, don't continue like that. Just drop the thought. Whenever you become conscious that you are thinking, simply drop that thinking right at that moment. Don't try to worry about how did I come to this thought or anything like that. Okay. So that way, if you do it, again for some time, your mind will be calm and again it will start thinking. Okay. So you will have to repeat this process n number of times before the mind stops thinking and stays focused on the Brukuti. Okay. So this is my advice and the answer to the question. I hope I am clear. So does anybody else have any questions regarding that?
Anyone want to discuss more on this? Okay, I think.
Who is that? Pawan?
I'm just asking, like, if anybody wants
Okay,
to,
okay, fine. Yeah.
Okay, then I think, okay. Then we can move. Okay, Manohar, you raised your thumb. So you have some question to ask, Manohar? You want to discuss more on this?
Yeah.
No, nah, I've added like symbol. Understood it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, then I think we can move to the next question.
Yeah, Pawan.
Okay, uncle.
Yeah, let's go to the next question.
Okay, and this is from Girish, uncle. Girish from Bangalore. Okay, he's
Is
asking,
Girish on the call?
let me see, uncle. Okay. I don't see him on the call. Okay. I don't see him on the call, uncle.
Yeah, Pawan. Yeah, go ahead with the question.
Yeah, he has okay, I think he has 2 to 3 questions. Okay. Meanwhile, if
Yeah.
you reach out to Girish, if he can join us, that will be great. But yeah, let me get this. Hope my voice is at least clear now, because
No, not yet, Pawan. It is
Not
still
yet?
very low.
Oh, I don't know why. I mean, like, okay.
Okay.
Um, okay, so let's move to Giri's question here. So he's asking is, did Swamiji suggest what we read any book? Did Swamiji suggest that we read any book after practicing meditation so that we don't move away from the path? How to engage in the outer world without getting distracted? So I'll just
Okay,
repeat this. Yeah, go ahead, Uncle.
I'll go ahead with the answer to that.
Sure. Uncle.
I don't know if Girish is there, but anyway, now let's go ahead. See, to the extent that I know, Swamiji has not recommended any book to be read. Okay. So for those of us who are just practicing the meditation, there is no suggestion or recommendation from Swamiji as to which book to read. Okay. Now, the only book that he has recommended people to read, but I am talking about those people who are seriously into meditation and they have been with Swamiji for a long time and they have questions about what is the philosophy of Swamiji, the teachings of Swamiji, to which philosophy do they belong? Is it Advaita? Is it Dvaita? Or is it Visishta Advaita? Questions like this, when devotees ask him questions like this, it is that at that time that Swamiji suggested that we read the scripture called the Yoga Vasishtha. It is also called the Vasishtha Ramayana. Okay, this I hear is a big scripture of about 32,000 slokas. Okay, this is a discussion between sage Vasishtha and Lord Sri Rama. It happened when Sri Rama was still a very young boy. So Vasishtha, just by a discourse, gave him the self-realization. Okay. But that sort of a self-realization is possible only to a person who is like Lord Sri Rama, who is an avatar of Vishnu. And also when the discourse is given by a sage like Vasishtha. Okay. Otherwise, for ordinary people like us, that discourse will not work. We will have to do the meditation to attain the self-realization. Okay. Now, coming to your the second part of your question, how to engage in the outer world without getting distracted? Okay. Now, this question was asked of Swamiji by a few devotees in the USA. Okay, we come here, we attend the meditation class, and we also practice the meditation at home for 1 hour a day, as you recommended. But after that, the rest of the day, we'll have to deal with all kinds of individuals. At work, when we go to the market, while we are traveling in the car, at home, we'll have to deal with so many other people. So how do we keep our mind under control, even in that kind of a situation? Okay. So Swamiji's answer was, just continue to do the meditation every day for 1 hour without fail. If you keep doing that, you will attain the control of your mind. Okay. Then what happens is, even if you are faced with different kind of people, with different mentalities, with different intentions, okay, you are dealing with businessmen, you are dealing with politicians, you are dealing with all kinds of people, your mind will not get disturbed. Okay, you will be able to think straight and take the right action. Okay, so the answer to the question is, regular practice of meditation itself will help you deal with the external world. Okay, you don't need to read a book or do anything else like that. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Pawan.
Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah.
If anybody would like to raise their hand or ask any questions, so there will be a reaction tool in your toolbar. So go to the reactions and then raise your hand. I guess Lalita Akka has raised So let me unmute her.
Hello, Uncle.
Yeah,
So,
Lalita. Hello.
unrelated to the second part, but
Ah,
I have a question about the Yoga Vasishta recommendation by Swamiji, right?
yeah, Lalita. Go ahead.
So, did Swamiji read this book and he suggested, or is it
Yes.
because he was present there and he witnessed the events and that's why he suggested?
Okay, Lalita. See, there is no straight answer to this question because even I thought that he read the book and only then he started recommending it. Okay. But then recently I learned that Bhag Singh Lamba, okay, one of the first devotees who came to Swamiji even before he completed tapas, it seems to him and also to Sanjay's father, okay, it seems Swamiji recommended that they read the Yoga Vasishta. Okay, so that surprised me. Uh, I cannot anymore say that Swamiji read the book and so he was advising it, right? So this is it. Now, I think it is Tom who said that Swamiji mentioned that he was there when the Yoga Vasishta was happening. So when Sage Vasishta was actually giving the discourse to Lord Rama, it seems Swamiji was there in that gathering, in that meeting. Uh, we don't know in which form he was there because there were a lot of sages there. So we don't know which sage was an avatar of Swamiji. Okay. So does that answer your question, Lalita?
Lalita? Okay, yes, she said yes. She said replied
Okay.
with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Uncle. That was a great answer.
Yeah, I couldn't unmute myself. Yes, it answers my question. Thank you, Uncle.
Okay, but see, let me just add a little piece to that, right? I mean, I was a witness to this when Professor P.N. Murthy and someone else, they were discussing with Swamiji, okay? And they asked this question. I mean, this was in the 80s, okay, 1980s. So much later much later after Swamiji completed the tapas, okay? So at that time, they asked Swamiji, what is your philosophy? He said, what philosophy? Meditation is the only philosophy, you know? So they were shocked, again, they went back and they said, no, Swamiji, what we mean is, there is Advaita, which is taught by Shankaracharya. Then there is Dvaita, which is taught by Ramanujacharya. Then there is also Vishishtadvaita. So which of those is your philosophy? Swamiji refused to answer the question. He said, no, none of those. And that's when he advised them to read the Yoga Vasishta. Okay. But then the irony is Yoga Vasishta itself is introduced as a scripture of the Advaita philosophy. Okay. I don't agree with that, but this is a separate discussion, Lalita. It will go into a very long discussion. Okay. So let's take that up some other time. Okay.
True. Okay. Okay. I think that answers, right? Yeah. So we are just keeping all of us on mute. I mean, including me, while Uncle is discoursing the answer, right? Because just because that we store these answers and keep this as a preserve, for a future this thing as a video, for a latest. So please just try to understand that. And if you have any questions, it is not hesitation that you don't have to ask it, but you just raise a hand. We'll make you unmute, and then you can go ahead and ask the answers. So it can be an interactive discussion, but just request that you only can raise a hand, and then we'll make you unmute. Yeah, that's the only request from our end. That's it. Hope you all understand, and then right. Okay. Okay, Uncle. Can we move to the next question, Uncle?
Yeah. So this is question 3, right?
Question 3, Uncle. Question 3 is again from Girish. So he asks, Did Swamiji suggest any guidelines regarding food intake during sadhana or the right time to eat and practice meditation? I think this question remains with so many of us. I think can been answered in the last satsangs as well. But again, the great question to go. Yes, Uncle.
No, the answer is quite simple, Pawan. I'm sure we all received the instructions after we were initiated into meditation. So the instructions, I mean, in the instructions itself, it is written very clearly that you can continue to take the food that you have been taking until now. So you don't need to make any change, and there are no restrictions being imposed by Swamiji for those who want to practice the meditation. Okay. Now, the next part of the question is the timing. Did Swamiji recommend any time? Okay. No, Swamiji did not recommend any time. Again, as it is mentioned in the instructions, any time of the day is good for meditation, whichever is convenient for you. Okay. What is important is that we should do the meditation for at least 1 hour every day. Okay. Swamiji did not specify that it should be done early in the morning or in the evening or night. He didn't say anything about that. You can do it early in the morning, immediately after you wake up, or you can also do it the last thing of the day, just before you go to sleep. So you can do whichever way you like, or during the day, whenever you are free, you can do the meditation. Okay. But because this question has come up, let me just add one more point to this, which I heard from Swamiji, and Swamiji himself talked about it. He said that if you do the meditation as the last thing of the day before you go to sleep, meaning you should meditate and then go to sleep. That's all. You should not do anything after the meditation. Meaning you cannot meditate and then go and watch the TV for a while and then go to sleep. No, he's not saying that. He's saying do the meditation and then immediately after that go to sleep. And what he told us is that if you do like that, if you meditate and immediately sleep after that, the whole of your sleep, I mean, you may sleep for 6 hours, 8 hours, all that time will be considered as meditation. So if you meditate for an hour and then you sleep for 6 hours, it's equivalent to doing the meditation for 7 hours. Okay. So this is a secret that Swamiji revealed. If any of you want to practice it, you can go ahead.
That's a great set. Thanks,
Yeah,
Uncle.
Pawan.
Thanks for
So
answering.
that's the answer for.
Okay, I think most of us will prefer then.
There's just another point. The only thing, again, this is not from Swamiji, but because the question is about time, it is known that, immediately after a meal, we feel heavy and we feel dull, right? I mean, the mind is not very active at that time. So that is not the right time to do the meditation. Because if you sit for meditation immediately after a meal, it's quite probable that you will just fall asleep. Okay. So we'll have to avoid that. Again, this is not an advice from Swamiji. This is what I am telling you. Okay. Yeah, Pawan.
Thank you, Uncle. Thank you, Uncle. Okay, Uncle. If I move to the next question, this is fourth question again from Girish, Bangalore. He asks, did Swamiji suggest any other alternate practice for people of different temperaments, or suggest we do any other things before taking up sadhana?
Yeah, Pawan. Yeah, this is again a question from Girish. This is also on meditation. Okay. No, Pawan. Girish, the answer is no. Swamiji did not recommend anything else, any other practice for anybody. Okay. Now, wherever he was, I mean, wherever he conducted a meditation class, wherever he initiated people, whether it is in US, UK, India, Italy, Sri Lanka, any country, any race, any gender, any age, he taught the same meditation. Okay. And he used to clearly tell us, this is the meditation I learned from my guru, and this is what I am teaching you. So he would not change that. Okay. He would not say that for the Americans, this is the technique, for Indians, this is the technique, or for a person of this nature, this is the technique. Nothing of that sort. It is the same meditation for everyone without a change. Okay. And now, specifically because you ask about the temperament, let me take you back to Satyaraju's childhood. I'm sure most of you must have read about Swamiji, right? Read about his childhood. Do you know his nature? Can someone answer that? What kind of a boy was he as he was growing up?
Naughty. That's what Lalita says.
Smart businessman is an answer I see. Yeah, that is correct. He was smart when he did business. No, but otherwise, in the village when he was growing up, he was a very naughty boy. Okay. I mean, I would categorize him as a rebel. Okay? He wouldn't listen to any of the elders. He wouldn't obey his teachers. He would work against them. He would pick up fights with the other children in the village. He would pick up fights with children of the other villages. Okay, so his character was such. Okay. Can there be a worse temperament than that? So if the technique of meditation that was taught to him by the Jangama, that worked for him, a boy of that temperament, I'm sure it will work for anybody of any temperament. Okay. We just need to practice it. That's all. Okay. And no, Swamiji did not recommend any other practices or any other methods, rituals, or anything like that, before we get into the practice of the meditation. Okay. Straight away, he would put people into meditation. That's all. He wouldn't even ask for anything. He wouldn't get an introduction from them. He didn't ask their name. Nothing. The moment you go into the hall, he'll make you sit and he'll make you meditate. That's all. Okay. So that's the answer, Pawan.
Thank you so much, Uncle. Thank you. Thank you. And again, just a kind request, if anybody have anything to discuss, please raise their hand. I mean, we are just making everybody mute, is that just not to distract the video while Uncle is discoursing it, so that we can preserve this video and then this video can be shared in future. That's the only reason. But if you want to, we are open to discuss here. Any question, anything, please raise your hand if you have anything, please. Thank you for understanding. Yeah. Going to the next question, Uncle.
Your question. That is your question only, Pawan.
Yes, Uncle. Yes. I mean, again, it's a basic question, but I just wanted to ask.
Yeah.
And I think this might be answered in the other satsangs as well. But like when we feel like we have a limited time, Uncle, that's where my question starts with. Like, if we
Yeah.
have a limited time and maybe, kind of feeling like, doing puja and then other spiritual activities also kind of becoming an overhead. And then is that we can give a first preference to our sadhana of meditation and leave everything else, or we have to still do that? I mean, or can we increase, while we increase the meditation, can we leave the other sadhanas aside and only concentrate on doing the meditation and increase the time of it?
Okay. Is the question clear to all? I mean, I still find that Pawan's voice is very feeble. So if the question is not clear, then I'll try to repeat the question. That's why. Is my voice clear, by the way?
Repeating it would help. Yeah.
Yeah, Lalita. I read your message. Yeah. See, Pawan's question is, I mean, we are all faced with time constraints nowadays, right? I mean, all of us who are working on jobs, students who are studying, our parents who are, I mean, either you are working at an office or on a job, or you are working at home. But we all have constraints of time, right? So when such constraints become severe, Pawan's question is, do we continue to do the other spiritual activities that you have been involved in, like puja, that is worship, or abhishekam to gods, or japam, or anything like this, or is it that when the time is less, we drop all of those and we just do the meditation? Okay. Now, my answer to that question is Swamiji compared the other rituals, besides the meditation, the other rituals were compared to the primary education that we get at schools, okay, before we enter the college for higher education. Okay. So he did not trivialize any of those rituals that we perform to gods, whether it is japam, meaning repetition of the name of God, right? Or any other mantras, like a lot of ladies, they do the Lalita Sahasranamam, okay? People do the Vishnu Sahasranamam also. People do Abhishekam to gods. Okay, so all these things. Swamiji did not trivialize them. Okay, he said meditation is like higher education. He actually compared it to the PhD, the doctorate. Okay, while all these are education until then. Okay, but you cannot go to a postdoctoral study or a doctoral study without completing the primary school, middle school, and the high school, right? Okay, so those are essential for us. Now, the other question that can come is, okay, we have been doing that until now. So now that we have grown up, can we drop those and take up meditation? Okay. To that question, my answer is even Swamiji himself, after doing the tapas, not during the tapas, but after he completed the tapas, every day he used to perform puja. Okay. When he was in Bangalore at the ashram, in his room, there was a Shivalingam. Okay. And he would perform the Abhishekam to that Shivalingam and perform the puja to that Shivalingam immediately after having a bath. Every day, every morning without fail, he used to do that. Okay. So not only in Bangalore, whenever he traveled to Adivarapeta, his native village, there also he used to perform puja every morning. Okay. Then also in Dehradun, like that, wherever it was possible, right? So when he started visiting Hyderabad, there once he expressed concern that he is unable to do puja there because there is no idol or anything like that. So immediately my sister arranged for a small Shivalingam. So whenever Swamiji went to the Hyderabad ashram, she would take that Shivalingam to the ashram and Swamiji used to worship that. Okay. So even a yogi, a self-realized yogi, a God-realized yogi would continue to do the puja, worship to God, to his guru, or to all gods, any god, okay, every day without fail, when it was possible. The reason I am saying only when it is possible is that, while we were traveling in the USA or while we were traveling in the UK or other countries, there was no way he could have worshipped because there is no Shivalingam or any idol there which he could have worshipped. And he never carried any idols or Shivalingams with him, okay, like some other gurus do. Like I know that the Shankaracharyas, they carry a Shivalingam with them. And they perform puja to that, they perform Abhishekam to that every day, okay. Swamiji did not do that. He did not carry a Shivalingam with him. But wherever possible, he used to do the puja. Yeah, I had to unmute myself.
ಸಾರಿ ಅಂಕಲ್, ಯಾರನ್ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು.
Okay, Bala. So I remember that at Las Vegas in USA, we stayed at the house of an Indian. He's actually from Karnataka by the name of Dr. Ram. So when we stayed in his house, he invited Swamiji to come to his puja room, their personal puja room. And Swamiji was happy to go in there and perform the puja every day while we stayed at his home in Las Vegas. Okay. So that is the kind of importance that Swamiji gave. Now, besides this, I just want to relate another incident, another, I don't want to call it a story, but something that happened with me. Okay. Now, after Swamiji took Mahasamadhi, I think it was in the year 98 or so, that I was given a small idol of Ganesha. And Swamiji in trance asked me to worship that Ganesha every day in the morning, immediately after I have my bath. Okay. Then in a few days, I was about to travel to the US for some meeting there. So Swamiji told me, you have to carry the Ganesha with you. Okay. So I had to pack the Ganesha with all the other things that are required, the clothes for Ganesha, and the items that are required for the puja. So I could do the worship or the Abhishekam to Ganesha every day, even while I was traveling. I mean, I couldn't do it on the flight, of course, but after I landed there, wherever I was staying in the hotel, I would perform the Abhishekam to Ganesha. Okay, this continued for some time. And then once again, when Swamiji was available in trance, he advised me to increase that ritual. I don't remember exactly what he told me, but I was a little annoyed. I said, no, Swamiji, this itself is taking a long time, so I cannot spare any more time for worship and all that. So he simply laughed it away. And he said, see, you may not do the meditation every day, but will you stop doing the Abhishekam to Ganesha, to your Ganesha? Well, I didn't reply. But what actually happened is, since then, I'm talking about 1998, until now, there are very few days, probably I can count them on my fingers, when I could not perform the Abhishekam to Ganesha, maybe because I was traveling or something like that. Okay. Otherwise, every day I perform the Abhishekam to Ganesha. Compared to that, there are several days when I could not do the meditation. Okay, Pawan, I hope you get the answer.
No, uncle, your last part has cleared my doubt really well, uncle. Thanks a
Sorry,
lot for
Pawan, I am unable to hear you.
Thanks a lot, uncle. Your last part has cleared a lot of my, answers,
Okay.
uncle, my ambiguity.
That's
Thanks
it.
a lot.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll move to the next question, uncle. Yeah.
But again, Pawan, and let me just complete that.
Okay.
See, you mentioned a couple of things like puja and abhishekam, right?
Correct.
There
Uncle.
could be other things like japam, or as I
Yes,
said,
yes. Anything
mantram.
related to that sense, uncle. Yes.
So, I mean, what I feel is, each person may be inclined to do one of those, right? So he or she may take up that and drop the others if the time does not permit. Okay, but I mean, my suggestion, my recommendation is at least retain one of those. If not meditation, at least one of those, japam, abhishekam, puja, one of those, if you retain and do it every day, it will keep you connected to God. Okay, that is my suggestion. Thank you, Pawan. పవన్ కనిపించట్లేదు బాలు.
కనెక్షన్ ఏమైనా ఇదైందేమో అంకుల్.
అదే
ప్రాబ్లం అయింది.
నీ దగ్గర కూడా ఉన్నాయి క్వశ్చన్స్ కదా బాలు. ఇక్కడ చాట్ వస్తుంది, అది చూస్తున్నారా?
పవన్ చేస్తున్నాడు అంకుల్, ఒక నిమిషం అంకుల్, కాల్ చేస్తున్నాడు. ಪವನ್ದು ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ರೀಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತಂತೆ ಅಂಕಲ್.
ಆಯ್ತು ಬಾಲು, ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀಯ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್?
ನಾನು ಬೇರೆ ಲೈವ್ ಕೊಡೋದು ಅದು ಇದು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ಅಂಕಲ್. ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಆಯ್ತು, ಮತ್ತೆ ನವ್ಯತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ,
ತಗೋ.
ನಾನೇ ಹೋದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನೇ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಸರಿ ಅಂಕಲ್.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ.
ಹೌದು ಅಂಕಲ್.
Okay. The next question is from Manohar. So if he is there, then he can ask the question. Manohar? Yeah, Manohar. Balu, you please unmute Manohar.
Yes, uncle. Good evening, everyone. Uncle,
Good evening,
actually, my
Manohar.
question is like, I feel like the mind will be having Arishat Varga, like Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya with fear.
Yeah.
So why God has given this to humans, without which we will be happy, no, uncle? Because of this, we will be having many lifetimes.
Yeah. Okay. Now let me first ask you a question. Do you think only human beings have these qualities?
No, uncle. Animals, all the animal kingdom.
Right. So all the animals
Yes,
have
uncle.
it, right? So it's
Yes,
not
uncle.
that God has given them to only human beings. God has given them to all living beings, actually. May not be the trees, okay? But I don't know. Can I say that for sure? I don't know, right? So it's not something that is given to only, or that only human beings possess. All living beings possess these qualities. Okay? So I feel, we look at them as negative qualities, okay? But please think again. Let me give you an example, right? I can take two examples. Hunger, is it bad or good? Hunger, ఆకలి అంటాం కదా. సో ఆకలితోటి ఎంతో మంది అలమటిస్తూ ఉంటారు, అవునా? ఆకలేస్తుంది, అన్నం చిక్కలేదని చెప్పి ప్రపంచంలో ఎంతో మంది బాధపడుతున్నారు. మరి ఆకలి అన్నదే లేకుండా ఉంటే బాగుండు కదా. ఏం మనోహర్? బాలు, ఆయన అన్మ్యూట్ చేసి పెట్టండి బాలు.
అవును అంకుల్, అయిన అంకుల్. అవును, ఆకలి లేకుండా ఉంటున్నాయి, లేకపోతే మనకి శరీరానికి పోషకాలు అందవు కదా.
అవును కదా. సో ఇఫ్ యూ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ హంగర్ or appetite, you won't be able to eat at all. Okay? So you may not feel hungry, but that doesn't mean that lack of hunger is a good thing, right? You need the hunger. Okay? Now, when because of hunger, you do something wrong, because of hunger, you go and steal something, right? That is considered bad. So once you start stealing, then you get into the practice, and then you cannot leave that. First, you begin with stealing food. Okay, then later on, it may go into other things also. You may start stealing money, you may start stealing other things. Okay, so that is bad. Hunger by itself is not bad. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, let me take another example. Fear is one of the emotions that you have written about, right? The last thing that you wrote about is fear. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Right?
So sometimes fear may protect us, like falling from a mountain cliff.
Right? No, not only that, there is danger, right? For example, on
Yes,
the
sir.
road, you are just walking on the road and a vehicle is coming at a high speed. You move away out of fear, right?
Yes,
If
sir.
the fear were not there, you wouldn't have moved.
Yeah.
What could have happened? You look at the consequence, right? Now, but if the fear turns into panic, then that's a bad thing, okay? Irrespective of the situation, people advise us not to panic, right? Why? Panic is different from fear. It is caused by fear, but it is caused by too much of unnecessary fear. Okay? Fear without a basis, fear without a proper reason, that is harmful. But fear by itself is necessary. It is essential for life. Okay? Now, like that, I can take the other examples also. Greed, to some extent, it is required. Okay? Kama, desire to possess things, desire for other things in world, that is required. Without desire, the whole world will go silent. Okay? Nothing will happen in the world. So do you think that is a good quality?
No, uncle.
Okay. So it's not that the Arishad Vargas, what are categorized as the 6 enemies of the internal enemies of human beings, or for that matter, all living beings. Okay. If they can be controlled, then they are good. We need them. We need them for living. Okay. We need them for progeny. Clear? We need, all those qualities are needed for continued life in this universe. Okay? Without that, life is itself gone. Now, so this is how, if you are asking me, if you say that God has created this, yes, God has created the Maya so that his Leela will continue. Okay? It is his Leela, as some saints have told us. It is a game that God is playing. So for the game to continue, the Arishad Varga are a must. Without that, the game will not continue. It will come to an end. Okay? Okay, Manor? So does that...
Thanks, uncle.
yeah.
Yes, uncle. So by doing regular meditation, we can control this Arishad Varga, isn't it?
Yeah, Manor, actually, see, the way I want to put it is, when we use the term mind, right? M-I-N-D, the English word mind, we mean a lot of things with that. For example, we include things like learning, memory, okay, and the control of the senses. I'm not saying the mind, right? The control of the senses. I'm able to see, I'm able to listen, I'm able to talk. All these are also mental activities, right? They are also actions of the mind. Again, I'm using the English word mind. Without mind, none of these are possible. Okay, but the way the yogis use the term manas, Sanskrit term manas, or in Telugu it is called manasu, right? Sanskrit, I think actually is manaha or manas, right? What I have understood is, if you go through what all the yogis have taught, when they say manas, they mean the Arishad Varga and fear. Okay? They don't mean the other parts of the mind. For example, they don't mean intelligence. Buddhi అంటాం కదా, దాన్ని వాళ్ళు మనస్సు అనరు. వాళ్ళు మనస్సు అనేది అరిషడ్ వర్గాల్ని, భయాన్ని, అంతే. దాన్ని కంట్రోల్ చేయమంటారు అనమాట. అంతేగాని నీ బుద్ధి కంట్రోల్ చేసుకో అనరు కదా. బుద్ధి ఉపయోగించుకో అంటారు, మనస్సు కంట్రోల్ చేసుకో అంటారు, మనస్సు స్వాధీనం చేసుకోండి అంటారు, బుద్ధి స్వాధీనం చేసుకోండి అని అంటారు కదా. సో దాన్ని బట్టి మనం అర్థం చేసుకోవాల్సింది ఏంటంటే, అరిషడ్ వర్గాలు అనేవి ప్రపంచానికి అవసరం, ఓకే, జీవితానికి కూడా అవసరం. కానీ వాటిని కంట్రోల్లో పెట్టుకోవటం చాలా ముఖ్యం అనమాట. ఈ ధ్యానం అనేది దానికి పనికి వస్తుంది. ఆ మైండ్ని, అంటే ఈ అరిషడ్ వర్గాల్ని కంట్రోల్ చేయడానికి ధ్యానం పనికి వస్తుంది అనమాట. అర్థమైందా? సో రియాక్ట్ అవ్వకుండా రెస్పాండ్ అవ్వగలుగుతాం మనకు ఆ కంట్రోల్ అనేది ఉంటే. అవునా? ఓకే.
Thank you, uncle. Thank you so much. Okay, uncle. Let's move to the next question.
Yeah.
It's from Vaishnavi, Bangalore. I had read in the tapas.
Is Vaishnavi there in the meeting?
Yeah. Let me see. I don't see her.
Okay.
I don't see her. Okay.
Yeah, Pawan, go ahead.
Yeah, uncle, what she asks is, I have read in the Tapashakti book that Swamiji wanted to visit Surya Loka. Hence, Satyaraju was given a Surya mantra to chant, after which Swamiji was carried in the palms of his Guru and took a dip in the rivers they crossed. While reading the book, I was curious as to which was the Surya mantra given to Swamiji to chant. Did Swamiji talk about that mantra?
Okay, Pawan. I heard the question. Now there is somebody do not disclose or something, do not want to disclose or something. Is that Vaishnavi by any chance? I know you don't want to disclose who you are, but if you are Vaishnavi, then it will be better if you can ask the question. Okay. Now, again, so let me read the question. I mean, those of us who read about Swamiji know that Swamiji visited the Surya Loka, meaning Swamiji actually went to the sun, not in this physical body, in the physical body, okay, but he was taken to the sun. He did not go by himself. He was taken to the sun by his guru, Lord Shiva, okay, in the astral form. Okay, now let me just tell you what happened, because the next question is also related to this. See, in this picture, I'll just come to the picture. I'll just explain to. Okay. Now let me just explain what actually happened here in a little bit of detail. Okay. Now we all know that there was a saint by the name of Tapaswiji Maharaj who came to Satyaraju when he was doing the tapas. You know, he came very early during his tapas, probably in the year 1951, just a year or two after Swamiji started the tapas. Okay. Now, during that time, Tapaswiji Maharaj, once on an auspicious day, he initiated Satyaraju into the Surya mantra. Okay. Now, but see what happens here. He was initiated by Tapaswiji Maharaj, but the next time he saw his guru, who was his guru? Lord Shiva, but in the form of Jangama. Okay. And he used to visit Satyaraju regularly to guide him in the tapas. So the next time the guru appeared in front of him, Satyaraju told him that he has been initiated into the Surya mantra by Lord Shiva. Okay. Then it seems Jangama, he was initiated into the Surya mantra by Tapaswiji Maharaj. Okay. So Jangama corrected the Surya mantra. This is what Swamiji told us. Okay. And advised him to do the Surya mantra for 2 hours a day and spend the rest of the time in samadhi. So that means in tapas. Okay. Now here is just a little point I want to make for those who are interested. See, we read or hear that yogis do tapas, but they also chant mantras while doing tapas. Now, I'll come to that a little later. Swamiji defined tapas as meditation in samadhi. That is, while in the state of samadhi, if you do the meditation for at least 12 hours a day, that is called tapas. Okay? But then here again, we know that Satyaraju was doing the meditation in Samadhi for 23 hours a day for the first 8 years. Okay. But during the same time itself, we know that he has done the Surya Mantra, and he was also chanting the other mantras for each of the directions that he was facing during the tapas. Okay, so there could be a question as to how a person in Samadhi, in the state of Samadhi, where he is not even conscious. So that means he cannot do anything on his own. He cannot even chant. Then how could he be chanting the mantra? Okay. So this single line tells us that when Satyaraju was chanting, he was not in Samadhi. And when he was in Samadhi, he was not chanting. Okay. So his guru told him to set aside 2 hours for chanting the mantra every day. Okay. So those 2 hours he would chant the mantra. He was not in Samadhi. So only the rest of the 21 hours he used to be in Samadhi. Okay. For those who are interested in the details of Samadhi and tapas and all, I think this will be an interesting point. Okay, now that's what happened. Okay, now that continued for 2 years almost, meaning the chanting of the Surya Mantra. Okay, now the chanting began when Swamiji was doing the tapas facing east. In about a year's time from then, he completed the tapas successfully, meaning he attained Siddhi of the eastern direction. So he changed his direction and he started facing north. Okay. So while he was facing north and doing the tapas, in about a year's time, he attained Siddhi of the Surya Mantra. Now, how exactly did that happen? So what's written in the book and what Swamiji told us is that one day Lord Surya appeared in front of him. And Swamiji had darshan of Lord Surya. Okay. So after that, again Swamiji's guru, Satyaraju's guru appeared in front of him. That is Jangamadevara appeared in front of him. And Satyaraju told him, Swami, I have seen Lord Surya. Surya Bhagavan was here in front of me. He gave me darshan. Okay. So then his guru told him, so that is an indication that you have attained Siddhi of the Surya Mantra. The Surya Mantra that you have been chanting for 2 hours every day until now, you have successfully completed it. You have attained Siddhi in that. Okay. Then it is written in the book. I don't know what Swamiji actually said, but what's written in the book is that on impulse, Satyaraju asked to be taken to the sun. That means he told his guru, I want to go to the sun. Then it seems his guru asked him to close his eyes. And within a moment, he asked him to again open his eyes. And when he opened his eyes, he could see a terrain with mountains, hills, valleys, rivers, forests. So exactly like the terrain that we have on the earth. Okay. Now he could have confused that with earth. I asked to be taken to the sun and then I am only on the earth, probably somewhere else on earth. I did not go to the sun. So just remember this. And then after a while, he was brought back to the earth at the speed of thought. Okay. Remember this. At the time of going to the Surya Loka, Satyaraju was asked to close his eyes. Okay. But while returning, he was not asked to close his eyes. So he remained, his eyes remained open when he returned from Surya Loka. Okay. So that time, and that was for a very, very short time, just a moment, that's all. So in one moment, they returned to the earth from the sun. So they could cross the orb of the sun. The fiery orb of the sun They could cross that. I mean, that is several million kilometers, as we know. Okay. So they could cross that and then come down to the earth. Now, all this is happening in astral form. Okay. Please remember that. This is not in the physical form. This is not in the physical body. So in an astral form, he was taken there and brought back. But while coming back, Swamiji told us that he felt that intense heat of the sun's orb. Actually, traveling through the orb, they face that intense heat. Okay, now there could be questions as to if he has traveled in the astral body, how could he feel the heat? Now, I just turned the question around and I say, it means the astral body can feel the heat, can feel everything that we feel, okay? Do any of us know what an astral body is? So we assume that astral body cannot feel the heat. But this is evidence. I mean, this incident, this description from Swamiji is evidence that astral bodies do feel the heat, just like the physical bodies do. Okay. Now, so to cool that heat, to get rid of that heat, it seems Lord Shiva, who was actually carrying Satyaraju on his palm, okay? Satyaraju was sitting on Lord Shiva's palm. Balu, if you can just show that picture once more. Okay. Like that, he was carried on Shiva's palm to the Surya Loka and back. Okay. After bringing him back to the earth, he was made, Satyaraju was made to take a bath in every ocean and every river that they crossed while returning to Adivarakpeta. Okay. Now, in the book, it is written that even on the astral planes, they took a dip in every river. Now, I don't claim to understand that. Okay. I don't know which loka they are referring to. And while coming from the sun to earth, what all lokas they cross, I'm not aware of that. Okay. But on the earth, Satyaraju could recognize only the Godavari river because he used to go there for a swim or a dive from the bridge into the river. Okay, so he told us that he could recognize that river. Okay, now this is the story of Satyaraju's visit to the sun. Now the next question is also about that, but I think we are out of time. So,
Uncle,
I mean, I would like the group members to tell me if we continue or if we stop it here. So, because we'll have to stick to the time. People might have other activities that they have given time for, that they have indicated the time. So we cannot just continue like this. We'll just stop it here and we'll take up the discussion of the next question in the next meeting. I hope
Uncle,
that is okay.
yeah, Uncle, before we close, like there is one question from YouTube, Uncle. So the question is about Jagdish Uncle, how do we get initiated into Shivabalayogi's meditation? So maybe you can
Sorry,
answer.
Pawan.
How do we get initiated into Shivabalayogi's meditation?
Okay. See, for that, you will have to go to any ashram of Swamiji, because the initiation can be done only at the ashram or at a class which is conducted anywhere else, maybe at a temple, at a school, at some other venue also. If it is conducted, then you can go there and take the initiation. But Swamiji's initiation into meditation is done by touch. Okay. So it cannot be done remotely. It cannot be done online. It has to be done physically by touch. So may I know where you are from? I can tell you whether there is an ashram there, whether initiation into meditation is available there. Is it in the chat, Pawan?
It's in the YouTube chat, Uncle. It's in the YouTube
chat.
Yeah,
Okay,
not in the
okay.
Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah. So you please reply to that. Or Balu, Can you reply to that? Or if you send me the link, I can also reply to them.
Okay, uncle. Reply
But you
ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
check from which town or which place he or she is. Okay. So
Okay.
accordingly, we can advise them as to where to go and from whom to get the initiation.
Okay, uncle.
Yeah.
You have to reply to that
అంకల్
comment.
8:30 వరకు టైం ఉంది కదా అంకల్?
7 to 8:30 na.
అంకల్.
Okay, okay, Balu. Sorry. I thought it is 8. Okay. So that's a misunderstanding. I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah. Shiva. Balu. రామకృష్ణ శివ అని చెప్పి ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ పెట్టాం కదా,
అవును అంకల్.
ఆయన ఇప్పుడు జాయిన్ అయ్యాడు పాపం, చూడు.
ఓకే అంకల్.
సరే, సో షల్ వి టేక్ అప్ ది నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, బాలు?
Yes, uncle.
ఇట్ ఈస్ యువర్ క్వశ్చన్, బాలు.
ఎస్ అంకల్.
So Balu is here. Maybe Balu, you can ask uncle. So Balu asks, Balu from Hyderabad, we know all, that he asked, why did Satyaraju go to Surya Loka and what was the purpose of his visit? Was it his own desire or did he receive a message in meditation telling him to go there?
బాలు,
Yeah, Shiva is asking to permit him to unmute.
అన్మ్యూట్ చేయమంటున్నాడు. ఇప్పుడు వద్దని చెప్పు, ఇప్పుడు తన క్వశ్చన్ అయిపోయింది. నెక్స్ట్ టైం ఇంకేదైనా క్వశ్చన్ ఉన్నప్పుడు అప్పుడు మాట్లాడచ్చు అని చెప్పి రాయి ఆయనకి.
ఓకే అంకల్.
సరే, సో ఇప్పుడు నీ క్వశ్చన్ నువ్వు అడుగుతావా, బాలు?
తెలుగులో అడగనా?
అలాగే. ఓకే, నో ప్రాబ్లం.
అంకల్, ఇప్పుడు స్వామీజీని సూర్యమంత్ర ఇచ్చింది తపస్విజీ మహారాజ్ కదా అంకల్?
అవును బాలు,
స్వామీజీకి.
అవును.
తర్వాత మళ్ళీ జంగమదేవర వచ్చి కరెక్ట్ చేశారు, అవన్నీ తెలుసు అంకల్. బట్ ఇప్పుడు అంటే ఆ మంత్రం స్వామీజీకి వాళ్ళే వచ్చి ఇచ్చారు సరే, ఎందుకు అసలు పర్పస్ ఏంటి? ఇప్పుడు సరే అంకల్, ఇప్పుడు సూర్యలోకానికి వెళ్ళారు, మంత్రం వల్ల శివుడు తీసుకెళ్ళాడు, అవన్నీ తెలిసిందే. ఏ పర్పస్ మీద వెళ్ళారు? అంటే జస్ట్ ఊరికే అలా చూసి వద్దామని వెళ్ళారా? ముఖ్యమైన ఏదైనా కారణం ఏమైనా ఉందా అంకల్ ఆ విజిట్ వెనక?
అలాగే బాలు, అది డిస్కస్ చేద్దాము.
అంకల్,
ఇప్పుడు నేను ఇంకో పార్ట్ మర్చిపోయాను. వైష్ణవి ఆస్క్డ్ in the question whether Swamiji has disclosed the Surya Mantra. No, Swamiji did not disclose the Surya Mantra. Not only the Surya Mantra, he did not disclose any of the other mantras that used to chant during the tapas, except for the Panchakshari mantra. Okay, the Om Namah Shivaya. This is the Panchakshari mantra, and he was given this mantra by his own guru, Jangamadevara, at the beginning of the tapas, almost like 3 months after he was made to sit in tapas. Until then, he did not have any mantra at all. He was not given a mantra. After about 3 months, because he was bitten by a black cobra snake, to cure him, to heal him from that snake bite, Jangama gave him the Om Namah Shivaya mantra. So when he chanted the Om Namah Shivaya mantra, within a short time, the poison of the snake became ineffective and he was normal after that. Okay. And that is the only mantra that Swamiji has disclosed to us. Otherwise, we know that he did the tapas in 4 different directions. And for each direction, he was given a separate mantra. Okay. But he did not disclose what those mantras are. Maybe he would have disclosed some mantras to people who have done a lot of meditation, but at least he did not publicly disclose those mantras. So I don't know what that mantra is. Okay. So, okay. We have completed that part of the question. Now, Balu, coming to your question. Okay. Now, see, this is not, see, so far, whatever we have discussed about Satyaraju's trip to the sun, all that is in the books. Okay. And this is what Swamiji has disclosed. Okay. But now the question that you are asking why did Swamiji go to the Surya Loka? What was the reason behind it? Was there a reason? Or was it simply a desire, an impulse on the part of Satyaraju? Okay. This is my personal answer. I don't think it was just an impulse. I think there was a strong reason for Satyaraju to develop a desire to go to the sun god. And also Lord Shiva has taken him there, I think, on a particular purpose. So let us try to spend the next few minutes trying to understand that. But again, all this is my thinking, my arguments, okay? So, I mean, in such sessions, I try to make clear as to what is taught by Swamiji, what is told by Swamiji, or what are Swamiji's answers. And I also make it clear where it is just my thinking and my logic or my arguments about the topic that we are discussing. Okay, I'll try to always do this so there is no confusion about whether this answer is from Swamiji or from whom. Okay, now, so let's go back and see what all information we have regarding this particular subject. Okay, so Tapasviji Maharaj gave the mantra to Satyaraju. Now, why did he give it? At one point in the book, it is mentioned that Satyaraju asked for it. And that's why he gave it. Okay. Now, if Satyaraju wanted it, he could have asked his guru. Why did he ask Tapasviji Maharaj? Okay, let us assume he asked. Then Tapasviji Maharaj gave him the mantra, initiated him into the mantra on an auspicious day, right? Then why did Satyaraju, instead of starting to chant the mantra, why did he again check with his guru whether that mantra is okay or not, or whether to accept the initiation by Tapasviji Maharaj and start chanting the mantra or not? The quality that I see here in Satyaraju is that he will not accept initiation from anybody else except from his guru. He will not do anything unless his guru asks him to do it. That's a quality that I observe in Swamiji all the time. Okay. And he declared this openly. He said, I don't do anything unless Lord Shiva asks me to do it. And I don't do anything if Lord Shiva asks me not to do it. Okay. To the extent that it looks like a minor detail to us. I don't go to a particular place if Lord Shiva asks me not to go there. Okay. Now, Satyaraju, I don't think he would have asked Tapasviji Maharaj for a mantra. Okay. So Tapasviji Maharaj initiated him into the mantra, and the reason is not disclosed. Okay. Now, let's go to the next level. Okay. Again, a small point that I am making here, not to answer Balu's question, but okay. We know that Satyaraju was asked to close his eyes while going to the Surya Mandala. Why was he not asked to close his eyes while coming back? I see at least two reasons. Again, these are my reasons, okay? One, the terrain that he actually saw. See, on the way to the sun, he did not see the orb of the sun. He did not feel the heat. He did not see that they were going towards the sun. Nothing. He closed his eyes, he opened his eyes, and he was in Surya Loka. And the terrain he saw there was exactly like the terrain on the earth. Now, he has to be given some proof that this is not earth. This is something else, right? This is the sun, actually. So that proof could be given only if he keeps his eyes open on the, at least on the return journey, if not on the onward journey. Okay. So I think that is the reason Lord Shiva did not ask him to close the eyes. It's not that Lord Shiva forgot Lord Shiva purposely asked him, did not ask him to close his eyes, so that he will realize that he is actually in the sun and he is coming out of the orb of the sun back to the earth. Okay, so this is one logic that I am presenting here. The second thing is the real question, what Balu is asking, why did Satyaraju or Swamiji go to the sun? What purpose did that serve? Okay. Now, before I give you the answer to this, let me tell you 3 or 4 points about it. Okay. We know that Satyaraju completed his 12-year tapas on the 7th of August, 1961. Okay. On the 8th of August, there was an arrangement made where he was expected to deliver a message to the world. Okay. Nobody knew what this message would be, but the preparations were made. The information that we got from the local villagers long time ago in the year 1996 is that there was an arrangement made in Adivarapeta village at Swamiji's ashram to record the voice message of Swamiji. Voice of Swamiji, okay, as he speaks. So a microphone was used. We have a photograph showing that. Balu, can you show that photograph, Balu? It's in the Tapas series, Balu.
ట్రై చేస్తాను అంకల్.
Okay. And the other thing that we know is that that message was recorded for the purpose of broadcasting on All India Radio, which is the radio service that was available in India during that time. Okay. That was the only thing that was available. Please understand that in the year 1961, there was no TV in India, not even black and white TV. Okay. The only thing we had was radio, and that was called All India Radio. Okay. So there were arrangements made. How were these made? Who arranged this? Which politician or which minister? I don't have any details of that because all the people there also have forgotten all the details. Except that his voice was recorded on a spool. It's not in the phone. It's not in the computer. It's on a spool. Those large spools that were used long time ago? Some of you might have seen them. Loose tape used to be there. Film, thin film tape was there. All audio was recorded on that, okay, including music and all that. So Swamiji's voice was recorded on a tape like that and broadcast on the All India Radio. Okay. Now, I am telling you about the event and how widely that event was publicized and then broadcast all over India. So what did Swamiji say in that message? It was supposed to be a world peace message. But that heading was given after the message was delivered by Swamiji. Nobody knew that he is going to deliver a world peace message. Okay, they knew that he is going to deliver a message and all the arrangements were made. And I was told that people around him were not sure that he'll be able to talk freely and well in a legible manner that can be recorded for All India Radio. Okay. They were thinking that he will ask somebody else to speak. But it seems Swamiji himself spoke and his voice was recorded and was broadcast on All India Radio. Okay. There is a detail of that available. Again, very unfortunate that the actual tape recording has been lost because there was no arrangement to preserve all these things at Adivarapeta ashram. It was just a single room building for Swamiji during that time, right? So that time there were no arrangements available to preserve such things there. So the tape is lost, unfortunately. But what we could get were pamphlets, okay? What the Americans call as flyers, meaning small sheets of paper on which text is printed, probably a photograph. And these were printed in large numbers and circulated among the devotees who came there. Okay, we could get hold of a flyer like that. And anybody who has the book Swamiji's Treasure can see that flyer printed in that book. It's in Telugu language. Tom actually printed that flyer itself in the book. It's available in Telugu itself. And Tom also published or included a translation of that message that Swamiji gave on that day in English. Okay? Now, what Swamiji said in that message, please try to understand this, why I'm saying this, okay? He did not give a lecture, no, please maintain peace, everybody should maintain peace, there should be world. He didn't say any of that. He said, I had been to the Surya Loka in my Sukshma Sharira. And I am telling you, it is possible for people to go to Surya Loka in the Sukshma Sharira if they can get into Samadhi. In Samadhi, it is possible to go to the Surya Loka in an astral form. And he said he has been to the Surya Loka and he has come back. Okay. And then there are other things which are not important for me. He talked about the Sputnik, which is a Russian satellite which was secretly flown from Russia. Okay. Now, I am so surprised as to how Swamiji, who was doing tapas during that time, could have known about a satellite that was launched by Russia, which was a very secret country in those days, right? No news would come out from there. But Swamiji announced that. So Swamiji said, people are afraid that the astronaut who is flying in the Sputnik will finally go to the sun and conquer the sun. And by conquering the sun, he'll plunge the whole solar system, the universe, into darkness. This is the fear in the minds of the people, but no, that is not going to happen. Astronauts will not be able to go to the sun. Okay? One can go to the sun only if one does meditation and attains samadhi and then goes in the astral form to the sun. Nobody can go there in a physical form. This is what Swamiji declared. And it has been, I think, 64, 65 years since he declared that. Has that changed? No, right? So that is one part of it. The point I wanted to make was, he mentioned about his journey to the Surya Loka, which happened 10 years ago, or probably 8 years ago, from that date, from the day he made he gave the message, but he talked about it. So why was that a very important event in his tapas, in his life or in his tapas? Okay. So that is one point I'm trying to make. Now, I accompanied Swamiji. I mean, actually, Swamiji took me along on his last two trips of the UK and the USA. Specifically in the USA, a large number of people were very afraid of atomic bombs, armaments, nuclear bombs, atomic bombs. So what was happening there in the USA back then, I am talking about what, 30 years ago, more than that, right? So that time also, all the Americans were afraid of a nuclear war that might break out, or the World War III that might break out. Okay. And they were afraid that all the nuclear weapons and the atomic weapons will be used and that will destroy the world. Okay, so a lot of devotees used to ask Swamiji about these questions. Then, once a group of people who were working on disarmament, that is approaching the government there to encourage disarmament, meaning destroy these weapons so that they don't uh, remain a risk for us or for our children or for future generations on this world, okay, on this earth. So that was a propaganda that was taken up. I don't know whether it should be called a propaganda or probably a mission that was taken up by a few people. They came to meet Swamiji. Okay. They came to a town called, it was in Indiana, Dan Gobin. I don't remember the place of Denver was the town. Okay. So they came to Denver because that's a desert area. I think all the armaments were stored nearby. So some people, they called themselves a committee. They wanted to meet Swamiji. On that day, we had a flight in the afternoon out of Denver. Okay. And they came to meet Swamiji. And Swamiji was talking to them. And Swamiji could not talk to them by himself because they would understand only English. And Swamiji would speak only Telugu. So I was the interpreter. So I was dragged into that conversation. My mind was on the packing, okay? Because we need to leave in the afternoon. So I need to pack and get ready so that we don't get delayed for the flight. I also had to cook lunch for Swamiji and pack it so that he can have it on the flight or at the airport. But I was busy interpreting between Swamiji and them, okay? Then as time passed, Swamiji was rather relaxed and then discussing with them, continuing the discussion. I was getting very impatient. So at one point, I picked up the courage to tell Swamiji, Swamiji, we have a flight to catch and I need to do the packing, I need to do the cooking. So we cannot go on with this. He got angry at me. He said, shut up, sit here and do the work. So I had to keep quiet and continue the interpretation between Swamiji and them. And after a while, he said, okay, now you can go and do your packing and the rest of the work that you have. So I went away. I did the packing, I did the cooking. And in a hurry, we left. We got into the car. Dan was driving us. Halfway, he received a message saying that the flight is delayed by 1 hour. Okay. Otherwise, we would have missed the flight. Can I say that Swamiji delayed the flight? I may not be able to prove it. Okay. Now, if Swamiji went to the extent of delaying a flight just so that he can continue the discussion with this group of people who were working for the disarmament, try to understand how important it was for Swamiji, that subject. Okay. Now, all these points that I discussed until now, these make me believe that one of the main mission work for Swamiji is to protect the world from atomic and nuclear weapons. Okay? If there is a third world war, any big war, actually in Iran, the war that is going on now, people are afraid that there could be some nuclear weapons used. Okay? Now, in every war, there is a fear. Russia threatens, China threatens that they can use nuclear weapons. Okay? But Swamiji gave us a message saying that, I mean, it is in answer to the devotees in the USA. He told them that wherever people are doing the meditation, the nuclear radiation will drift away from that area to other areas. It will not harm them. Okay? That is one point. The other point he made, I mean, which is actually related to what we are discussing now. He said the scientists have invented the atomic bombs and the nuclear bombs, but they don't have something which can nullify their effect. They have not invented or discovered anything like that until now. And how many years has it been? Since the first atomic bomb was used on Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, it is now more than 90 years, I think, right? 26 plus 55. Yeah, 80 years probably. And even today, if it was used in 1945, it could have been available much earlier than that, right? But even today, 90 years after the atomic bomb was invented, we don't have any technology which can save us from that. Even if a small leakage happens in any of the nuclear power stations, the only solution we have is evacuation. Okay? Remove all the people from there. There is no other way of saving us from nuclear weapons. Okay? Now, I feel that it is Swamiji's job as a yogi. I mean, it is a job that is assigned to Shivabalayogi in particular to protect the world from atomic and nuclear weapons. Okay? Yeah. Thank you very much for being here and listening to me patiently. I would like to close this session here, and then we can continue in the next session. Yeah, Pawan?
Thank you, Uncle. I mean, really, that was like
Uh,
goosebumping for us.
Navya,
Yes, uncle.
I see a lot of chat messages, Navya.
Yes,
So can
uncle.
we save those messages, or will they be available to us so that we can answer them? And how do we answer them?
We can go ahead, Navya.
I'll make sure to export the chat, uncle.
Okay. Right. So the chat will be exported to our WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
First it will be exported to my local machine, so I'll share it in the WhatsApp.
Okay. Chandra, I think, is raising his hand, or I see his hand on the chat. I don't know what it means.
It is Shiva Adivarapupeta.
No,
Okay,
Chandra,
the last
Chandra.
one is Chandra.
You
Maybe
see in the chat.
you can just unmute and ask him if he has
I
any.
think he lowered his hand, uncle. Now I cannot see him raising his hand.
Okay. Okay, Navya. So please take care of that, because if there are any important questions or comments, then I would like to respond to them, or
Chandra
at least
wants
understand
to
what they are. Okay.
Chandra wants to unmute him.
Okay, Chandra is unmuted now.
Okay.
Thank you, Jagadish. This is really wonderful.
Welcome, Chandra. Okay.
Thanks for this. Satsang is very, very useful for us in our endeavor for spiritual journey. Same time, I hope this continues. You don't disappear after this. Please continue maybe every week or
No,
every.
that we should seek blessings from Swamiji to
Okay,
continue.
okay.
Chandra.
We'll
No,
pray
it
to
won't be in
Swamiji.
my hands, right?
It's really wonderful. This
Yeah.
satsang is really more than at the surface level. I think it reaches Swamiji himself. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Bali,
Chandra.
Bali Maharaj. Jai.
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 Okay. Thank
Shiva
you.
from Adivarapupeta also raised his hand, Shiva
Ah.
Garu. So can I unmute him, uncle?
Uh, No, no. Now let's not do that now, Navya, because the time is over.
Okay,
I
uncle.
will try to answer his question by WhatsApp, so he will get the answer. Okay?
Sure.
I
Yeah,
have the
uncle.
answer in the document, right?
Yeah.
I'll try to forward that to him. Okay?
Okay, uncle. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle. I mean, sincere thanks to Jagdish Uncle for patiently addressing these questions and guiding us with
Thanks,
facts and
Pawan,
depth.
for being
Thank you,
the
Uncle.
anchor.
No, Uncle, I didn't do anything.
Balu and Navya, thanks for all the arrangements
Yeah.
you have made to make this successful, Navya and Balu.
Thank you. Thanks. Real thanks to Balu and
Thank you.
Navya. Yeah, that's all I think I have. I think at least now my voice is not feasible. I mean, everybody can hear this.
No, next
That's
time
all.
you need to do something about
Yeah,
that,
I'll
Pawan.
do that. I'll do that, Uncle. I'll
Okay,
see where
Pawan.
it
Yeah.
happens. Yeah. Is that now clear, Uncle? At least I used.
No,
You
Pawan.
still feel okay.
I mean, I don't know how my voice is.
Your voice is very clear and loud.
Okay, right.
Okay. Okay. Maybe I'll do something. Okay. Thank
Okay,
you
Pawan.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a great session. Thanks. Thanks. Jai Shivabalayogi Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Right. Stop.